This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello viewers, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I am Samia Mohammed for the main news. First, our top stories for today. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and First Lady Zinash visits Vietnam. AU chairperson expresses concern over escalating violence in Sudan. South Africa appoints a special US envoy. Lesotho grants license to Elon Musk's Starlink. Now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and First Lady Zinash Tayachou are on an official visit to Hanoi, Vietnam, where the Prime Minister will attend the 2025 P4G Vietnam Summit. As a part of the trip, he toured Toyo Solar, a Japanese solar panel manufacturer operating in Vietnam and recently in Ethiopia. The company has opened a facility at Hawassa Industrial Park in Ethiopia. The Premier encouraged Toyo Solar to expand its investment in Ethiopia, including the potential development of an energy plan to support the country's green energy goals. Now to AU. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mohamed Ali Yusuf, expressed deep concern over escalating violence in Sudan, particularly around El Fasher, North Darfur, including credible reports of intensified attacks in Zamzam and Abu Shok camps. These assaults have resulted in the deaths of civilians, including children and humanitarian workers, an unacceptable and grave violation of international humanitarian and human rights law. The African Union urges all concerned parties to exercise maximum restraint, refrain from any actions that could exacerbate tensions. The EU calls once again on all Sudanese actors to demonstrate politically will by committing to a durable ceasefire and to engage meaningfully in comprehensive, inclusive and Sudanese-led political process. Shifting to South Africa. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa appointed Mcbessie Jonas as special envoy to the US to mend strained diplomatic ties. Relations worsened after the Trump administration expelled South Africa's ambassador and cut aid, accusing the government of anti-white and anti-American policies. Trump also criticized South Africa's land reform law in its case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. The expelled ambassador Ibrahim Rasool has not been replaced. Moving on to Algeria. Algeria has ordered 12 French diplomats to leave the country within 48 hours, escalating diplomatic tensions with France. The move follows the arrest of an Algerian consular official in France, which Algeria called a violation of diplomatic immunity. France confirmed the expulsion notice and urged Algeria to reverse the decision, warning it was prepared to respond. Detailed diplomat was linked to the 2024 abduction of activist Amir Bohors, but Algeria dismissed the evidence as baseless and politically motivated. This marks the most serious breakdown in Franco-Algerian relations in years, rooted in both colonial history and ongoing political disputes. In other news, the federal government says it's freezing more than $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts to Harvard University after the institution said it would defy the Trump administration demands to limit activism on campus. The hold on Harvard's funding marks the seventh time President Donald Trump's administration has taken the step at one of the nation's most elite colleges in an attempt to force compliance with Trump's political agenda. 6 of 7 schools are in the Ivy League. In the letter to Harvard Friday, Trump's administration had called for board, government, and leadership reforms at the university, as well as change to its admission policies. It also demanded the university audit views of diversity on campus and stop recognizing some student clubs. Meanwhile, Italy's new baby bonus initiative was launched on Monday, marking the latest step in the country's ongoing efforts to reverse its declining birth rate. The Italian National Institute for Social Security on Monday unveiled the formal process for families to access a tax-free allowance of €1,000 for each child born or adopted in 2025. The bonus will be granted to Italian citizens as well as citizens of other European Union member states and non-EU nationals who hold legal long-term residency in Italy. The allocated budget for the baby bonus is set at 330 million euros for 2025, which plans to increase the funding to 360 million euros in 2026.
The story of resurgent Ethiopia and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel, all the time. Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Turning to business news. Lesotho has granted Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet service a 10-year license, hours after denying that the approval was expedient due to U.S. tariff concessions. The small African nation recently faced 50% tariff on exports to the U.S., which was later reduced to 10% for a 90-day reprieve. Starlink's application, submitted in April 2024, was approved by the Lesotho Communications Authority, marking a step forward in the country's digital transformation. Foreign Minister Lejon Mutajon denied media reports suggesting the approval was linked to tariff negotiations, emphasizing that trade issues and the licensing process were separate. Finally, China's exports rose 12.4% in March as companies rushed to avoid higher U.S. tariffs. While imports fell by 4.3% in the first quarter of the year, exports grew 5.8%, but imports dropped 7%. The trade surplus with the U.S. was $27.6 billion in March and $76.6 billion for the first quarter. Exports to Southeast Asia and Africa saw a significant increase, with exports to Vietnam rising nearly 17%. Chinese President Xi Jinping's regional tour to Vietnam, Malaysia and Cambodia highlights efforts to strengthen trade ties amidst the trade war with the U.S. Before concluding, let us provide you with the latest updates on global commodities prices. Now to weather updates. That's all for today. Thank you for watching Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.